Episode 11 of Tales of Yarnia. This is my podcast all about knitting, a little bit of crochet occasionally, and just anything crafty that I'm getting up to. My name is Hannah. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as yarniadesigns. And you can also find my knitting patterns available on Ravelry there too. Sorry if you could just hear Jonah sighing. He's realised he's in for about half an hour of being quiet whilst I talk to you guys via this camera. So according to him, he thinks I'm just sat here talking to myself, which he finds really boring. So yeah, sorry, Jonah is our yellow Labrador who lives with me and my other half Jimmy here in Cheltenham in the UK. So, mentioned this from Ravelry. On to what I'm wearing. Today, I don't think I've shown this before on the podcast. Today I'm wearing my pavement sweater, which is a pattern by Vero Valamarki. And I finished this last summer, I think. And the yarn I used is Nora George. Sorry, say that again. Is Nora George yarns in the, I think it was the Fleur Delacour colourway, which is a Harry Potter character. I'll just stand up so the... So yeah, this is the pavement sweater. So I did do a slight mistake when knitting the pattern and accidentally added some increases here, so it flares out a bit. But it's not too noticeable when I'm just sort of wearing it. The only thing I wish I'd done is maybe done the sleeves a little bit longer, just so they were more like this length. Because when I'm wearing it, it's sort of, to keep the shoulders in place, I sort of have to pull it up a bit. And that brings the arms up to like literally just below my elbow. So just wish I'd done the sleeves a little bit longer, but other than that, I really enjoyed the pattern. And I really like the sort of like the scooped hem. I don't know the proper technical words, but where it sort of just like goes lower at the front and the back and higher at the sides, I quite like that. So yeah, that's the pavement sweater that I'm wearing today. So I have got only one FO to show you, And that 1FO I don't have with me because it was a gift knit for my friend whose baby turned 1. I think it was last weekend. So, excuse me, was a baby cardigan. I'll insert a picture, hopefully here if I leave some space on the screen, and then you can see what it looked like. It was a really enjoyable, fun knit. I didn't love the yarn to work with. I think just because it wasn't that smooth. I felt like, because the needles I used were wooden, it just sort of, the yarn felt like it didn't really glide along the needles. But I don't know if that was, I think it was just a combination with the yarn and the needles I was using. Probably wasn't a good mix. So that did slow me, I felt like that slowed me down a little bit. But the pattern was, I really, really liked the finished product. I thought it was just like a really simple, pretty design. And yeah, they were really pleased with it. So that was really good. I did think the pattern wasn't super beginner friendly for a first cardigan. Just, I felt like it didn't really hold your hand completely the way through. I think it expected you to sort of know the basics of like garment construction maybe, but other than that I think it did make sense. I just felt like it wasn't really detailed. It was just sort of stuck to the basic instructions, didn't really give you anything further in the way of like hand holding. But yeah, it was fine. So yeah, that was the 1FO that I've got to show you, which I don't even have with me to show you. So I have got quite a few whips to show you though, which is really exciting. So I'm just going to have some coffee and then I'll get on to that for you. Oh, I did forget to say, I'm entering that cardigan into the Kid Along, which is I think it's a make along, which is being hosted by Tommy of Squirrel Pie Productions. So yeah, you should check out her podcast. I think she is hosting this make along. I can't remember what the date, sort of the end date for submissions is, but you can enter anything that you're making for a kid, any child. So I think you can enter anything as long as it's not for an adult. So yeah, it's pretty good timing that I can now enter that into that. I think it's not just a knit along. I think you can do crochet. I'm not sure what else she's including in it. So, but I think she's got a thread in her Ravelry group if you wanted to join in. So yeah. Okay, so first whip that I've got is in my homespun house bag with the llamas, which is really summery, and it has actually been really, really hot here for April over the last few days. So I have been getting out all the summery clothes, and we've been getting out in the garden, doing quite a lot there. But I might talk a bit more about that at the end. I might do a bit of a life stuff segment. So yeah, in here is my Portage cardigan. So let me just get all the yarn out. So if I try and show you, this time at least I'm not in the middle of a row. I made sure of that. I've learnt my lesson. So I'm literally almost up to the bit where you split for the sleeves. So this is the front here. Look at the colours. So the yarn I'm using is Primrose Yarn Co. And it's in their, I think it's on their Jasper DK base in the Bramble colourway. I'll show you the back because the honeycomb section is just gorgeous. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh my gosh. I just love it. You're going to have a super close-up shot of this now. I just love it. And I am alternating skeins for this one. This is the first time I've ever alternated skeins. I didn't even do it on my pavement sweater, even though that's super variegated. I wasn't really at the stage last year where I thought that that was a thing that you needed to do. So, but now I realise I do need to do it, especially because some of the skeins I've got from Primrose Yarn Co. do differ a bit in the amounts of the different colours that are in each skein. So like the two skeins that I'm alternating at the moment are these two, and I think you can probably see that this one has got a lot more of the brown and orange in it than this one. I think that's, you can see that. Yeah, so this one's a lot more neutral. So I picked one with a lot more of one colour and one with a lot more of a different colour in and paired them together. So I thought that made sense because then it'll sort of more evenly distribute it in the cardigan, I think. So I'm really enjoying knitting on this. It is taking a while, but I think I'm at the widest part of the cardigan now because this is sort of the bit that goes all around here just before you split for the sleeves. I think I've literally got 2 rows left until I split for the sleeves. So that's going to be really exciting when I do that, because I always think that it looks much more like a jumper or cardigan once you split for the sleeves. And then obviously your round is shorter then, or your rows are shorter, because you're not having to go around your shoulders as well. You're literally just doing the body. So it's a bit of a milestone, I think, in the garment construction. So I'm just loving it, and loving how it works up as well. I just keep stopping to stare at it when I'm working on it, which is really crazy because I should just be knitting on it, but I'm really enjoying myself anyway. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. I think the last time I spoke to you, I was where this little progress keeper is here. So I've done a fair amount, but I have been working a lot more on other projects. So this is sort of one that I go to that's a bit more of a mindless knit, just because the honeycomb is really intuitive. You can see which way you need to do the cables from looking at your previous row. So oh, it's so squishy. I don't know if you can see how squishy this is. Oh, love it. Getting way too excited about this cardigan right now. So I will just put this away. And on to the next whip. But I need more coffee first. So the next whip that I've got is living in my Eldon Woodcraft bag. So, I mean, I do have only 3 or 4 project bags, so they're pretty much always in use, so you're going to see them again and again, I'm afraid. But I do really love this one. I love trees and sort of like woodland themed things. So I can't help showing them off each time. Right. Okay, these are my sock. This is my sock design. I have one finished sock now, and I didn't put it on a sock blocker. Don't know why I didn't do that, but it's okay. It's not on FO yet, so this is the one finished sock. I'll just bring it a bit closer so that you can see the detail and the design. So you've got this little, sort of like I sort of think it looks a bit like vines climbing up some trellis or something. Reminds me of plants anyway, some sort of climbing plant. So that goes all the way up the side of the sock, and then the back has another lace panel on it, which I will try and show you. So this is the lace on the back of the sock, which I really love, and it just looks like leaves sort of climbing up. So that's the front and back. So the yarn I've used, I should probably tell you about that. The main colour is actually a sock blank from Sweet Sparrow yarns in the fairy ring colourway, and I think I have shown it quite a few times, all like the rest of the blank just all spread out, and it is gorgeous. I absolutely love it. It's really fun to work with, and I just love the way it's working up, where you just get these little speckles of colour in between the main colour. It's just sort of lightly speckled on the sock blank, and I really love it. And then the contrast colour is Eden Cottage yarns in the Hayton 4-ply base, which is in MCN, and the colourway is Red Kite. So I'm using that just on the heels and the toes. The cuff I'm just leaving in the sock blank colour, because I want to try and use as much of the sock blank as possible because I really love it. And I thought matching heels and toes, I think, feels like enough on this sock. I don't want it to be too dark. I want it to still be quite a light, springy, summery colour. So yeah, I'm really enjoying knitting on these. I'm almost at the end of the heel of the second sock, so it will be ready for testing soon. I've just got to finish the rest of this sock. And I've got my little gingerbread man progress keeper on here keeping me company. And I think that's from... where's it from? I've said it many times on the podcast and I can't remember the name. Oh. I'm going to have to write it on the screen because I can't remember. But yeah, little gingerbread progress keeper. He is super cute. And I just thought he went really well with the colour on the heels and toes. So yeah, just up to the end of the heel flap now. Just got to finish the rest of the sock, write up the pattern, and then I'll be ready for testers. So it has taken a little bit longer than I thought it would on this one, but it's mainly because I'm being slow and getting distracted by other projects. So, I mean, there's no time limit. I can just take as long as I want. And I do work full time as well, so it's not like I've just got all the time in the world to just get on with my designs. It is sort of a hobby for me, so I've got to fit it in around life in general. So that's that. Right, so there's I've actually got 3 more whips to share with you, so it's quite exciting. I've got loads of whips at the moment. I don't feel like I've got too much going on. 2 of them are still knitting whips, and then one is a bit of a different whip, which I'll let you see when I show it. I won't tell you what it is yet. Right. So next whip is a shawl design, which I have started. However, this one is now slightly on a hiatus, or it's not going into hibernation, but it's just being put on hold while I get something else finished, and then I'll be going back to it at a later date, but I'll show you what I've done so far. So it's going to be a, oh, I'm showing you the back. It's going to be a crescent shawl, and I think if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen it on there. I think that colour is pretty accurate. It's showing up a little bit brighter, I think. It's actually a bit more muted. It's more of a deep, that's more correct. Yeah, it's more of a deep burgundy. I think that's pretty accurate colour representation. So I did start this wanting this to be my next shawl design, but I've now decided the colours are a bit more autumnal and I want to do a more summery shawl design first, so that that's released while it's still summer. And then I was thinking then I'll go to this one and release this as a sort of start of autumn shawl. So it is a fingering weight shawl. The yarn I'm using is so soft. I think my camera's about to cut out because it only likes to record for 24 minutes at a time. It just cut out, so I spotted that just in time. Anyway, the yarn I'm using is this one. The dark, deep burgundy colour is Travel Knitter, and it's in her Tanami base, which I believe has baby camel in it, and it's so soft. I'm pretty sure, oh, also it's the English Damson colourway. I'm pretty sure Katie from Inside Number 23 knit a whole cardigan out of this. I already had a skein of it just because when I had an order from Travel Knitter, I added this to the basket because I just fell in love with the colour. And I'm so glad I'm using it now. I sort of didn't know what to do with just one skein of it because it's so soft, it's not suitable for socks because it's too special. It's too special for socks. It's just so soft. Excuse me. So yeah, it's too special for socks because it's so soft. It's like really wearable next to skin soft. I think it might, is it called cashmere? I don't know. I can't remember what else is in it, but it might be silk. I'm just making things up now. So all I know is it has baby camel in and something else. I can't remember what. But it's the Tanami base and it's so, so soft. And I've paired it with this skein from Eden Cottage Yarns. So this is the Hayton 4-ply, just like the one I'm using for the cuffs. No, not the cuffs, just the heels and toes for my sock design. So it's the Merino Cashmere Nylon, and this is the Stone colourway, which is gorgeous. So soft. I love it. This is going to be such a cosy shawl for autumn. So I will be carrying on with this, I promise you, because I've got a really fun idea, I think, for this one. It's all sketched out, and and I really, really love working with the yarn. It's just so soft, but it's just not suitable for this time of year because of the colours, I feel. So this one is just going to be put on hold for a couple of months, I think, and then I will go back to it and have the design hopefully ready in autumn. So I'm just trying to be more sensible about my timings for releasing designs, because I think I released my honeydew shawl a little bit late in the year. I saw it's a DK weight shawl, which I released I think in March, just as spring is starting and it's starting to get warmer and people are starting to think about summer and fingering weight shawls. So I think I released that one a little bit late in the year. So I'm just going to try and be a bit more sensible about my planning. So that will get done. I love it, but it's just not for right now. Okay, more coffee. And we'll get through the last 2 whips. So the last knitting whip is living in my Emerald Fibres bag, which has got this cute knot on it, and I added my Moonstone Dye Works pin onto this because it's my only pin. I think I must be the only knitter ever to just have one badge, but I'm not really into collecting badges because I think I'd just rather have the money for yarn. So yeah. So sorry about that. I just had to quickly charge my camera battery a bit because it was running a little bit low. So where was I up to? I was just about to show you my last whip, which is another shawl design. And this one I think looks a lot more summery. So this one, just try and untangle it a second, hang on. This one is also a crescent shaped shawl. Oops. But it's got quite a bit bigger than the other one so far. So can you see general sort of outline? So it is crescent shaped, but it's also got this wavy texture in it. I don't know if you can see, which is made with these little eyelets in, and then it's got little eyelet rows as well. Lots of garter, because I just really love the mindlessness of garter, but then breaking it up with some interesting textures every so often. So the yarn I'm using, the white colour, is actually my only acquisition. My only Yarnie acquisition for this episode, and it is a skein of hedgehog fibres. It's my first ever hedgehog fibres as well. In the single space, and the colourway is typewriter. So you can sort of see it's like mostly white with these little black speckly areas, which make it really interesting, I think. And then the other colourway is Labian Ame, also in the single space, and the colourway is Life Aquatic. And I'm really enjoying how these two look together at the moment. I feel like the Life Aquatic is really popping with the other colourway. And my friend Emma, who has recently got into knitting, helped me pick out the hedgehog fibres one, because I think if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that I had a grey that I was possibly thinking of using in combination with this one, but I really wanted another singles base to go with it, and I didn't really have anything that went with it, so my one acquisition is already being used, which I think makes it okay. So yeah, let me just show you the two skeins together. This is the hedgehog fibres. I really love this one. I feel like this would go with everything. I feel like I probably need to get some more of it to go with other singles skeins that I've got. I don't know if it's getting a little bit blown out. No, that's pretty good. It's got these neons. See, I'm really loving working with both of these yarns. And I think together they just look really bright and light and airy and summery. So this is the main shawl design that I'm working on at the moment. So I'm hoping to get this done to be released while it's still hot, while it's still summer. So I mean, we're only in April now, coming towards the end of April, but I feel like I've only worked on this for a couple of days and I've already made quite a bit of progress, I think. So, and I did get one other acquisition, but it's not yarn, and it's actually this little progress keeper here, and this is from Sugar Tots, which is an Etsy shop, I think based in Canada, and it's a little sleepy tea bag. It's so cute. I absolutely love it. I don't know if you can see, it is a little bit glittery as well. And the little heart. So cute. I love it. I absolutely love it. She does other different teas as well. She does a normal tea and I think she does a green tea. And I really struggled to decide which one to get, but I think I really did want the sleepy tea, so I got that one. So yeah, I was looking for another progress keeper, and I'd wanted to try something from Sugar Tots for a while because I've been following her on Instagram. I think she's called Frosted Betty's on Instagram. I've got her card here as well. She does sell yarn as well. She dyes yarn and also makes these progress keepers. Are they polymer clay, I think, possibly? Yeah, and then there's the back. I think that's some of her yarn, which looks gorgeous. But I was being restrained because I don't need to buy yarn. I did need to buy this skein for a design because I didn't have anything to go with this, but I'm using it already, so I feel like that's okay. But I'm not buying yarn without a purpose that I'm going to use like right now. And clearly I've got enough whips on the go now so to keep me busy for a while, so I have no excuse. I have no reason to buy yarn, so I feel like I did fairly well. I did the best I have in a long time not buying yarn this last couple of weeks, so yeah, this is my Summery shawl. So, one last whip is actually embroidery. I know, I've never done embroidery before, and I don't know if you remember, I got this kit, the Autumn Wildflower Embroidery Sampler for my birthday from my mum, and this is by Jenny Blair. So, I'll pop the links down in the down bar, and this is what I've done so far. So exciting. So it actually comes with the pattern stenciled on already, which I don't know if that's normal for embroidery, but it's really good, I think. So I just need to follow the lines and do the different stitches. So the stitches I've done so far are, I think, split stitch, which was this one here, for all of this here. And then I've done, what was it? Cable stitch, which is the one on this stem here. And then I did some cross stitch, which I've done cross stitch before, so excuse me, I'm familiar with cross stitching. And then this one, which is I think the chain stitch. So I'm just in the middle of that one at the moment. Let's see. So I'm excited to get to all of the colourful bits, because so far I've just done the sort of like the grey and the brown, but I've been really, really enjoying it. I find it's like really, really relaxing. I'm really, really enjoying working on that. So once I've made more progress, I will show it again on the podcast, because I think it's really fun. And then I love that it comes with these little woodland creatures to wrap your threads around. Aren't they so cute? So yeah, that's my embroidery so far. But yeah, I really can't wait to get to all the colourful bits. So I'm thinking that might go on the wall up around here somewhere, or maybe in my craft room, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can see them. This one right here was a cross stitch that I did myself. So I think it might look nice to have a couple of handmade things around there as well. Yeah, so that was my last whip. My camera battery's flashing at me again, so I will just quickly tell you what I've been up to. This weekend, it's now Monday, over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, it's been really hot. It's been really good weather, so we decided to get out in the garden. We've actually created, or in the middle of creating, a whole sort of like plant and flower border along the whole length of our garden. And I might try and include some either video or pictures of that, what we've done so far, just at the end. And or the beginning. You might have seen it at the beginning. Don't know where I'm going to put it yet. But I find it really satisfying. Our sort of whole house and garden is a bit of a doer-upper. When we moved in, the whole garden is pretty much just lawn with trees in it and a big garage in the middle of the back garden, which I don't think is normal, but clearly when the house was built in 1938, that was normal. So, yeah, unfortunately the trees in our back garden got damaged when it snowed, I think on Boxing Day last year. And the weight of the snow, when it froze, caused the branches to collapse. And apparently the trees are not going to recover. So we're going to have them all removed, and we're going to replace them with some other conifers. They're those huge conifer things that just grow out of control, and they sort of were already out of control when we moved in, which was nearly 2 years ago now. So it was about a year and a half after we moved in, the branches have collapsed, which was really annoying because we were going to get them all trimmed this year. But yeah, we're now going to have to get them all removed and replaced. But they do actually take up a lot of room in the garden, so we're going to have even more space to continue this border down the side. But basically, there was a new fence put in. I don't know if anyone is even interested in this, but there was a fence put in by our neighbours. This hedge was removed along one side of the garden last year. And now there's this fence. We just had sort of like weeds growing up against it over the winter and this sort of start of spring so far. So we've had to dig over all of the soil, dig out the weeds, and then we've got lots of plants and flowers put in. And then we got some mulch, like bark pieces, to just like cover the top so that fewer weeds will grow in that place. I think it suppresses weeds growing if you have that stuff over the top. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it so far. We've just got to get the edging is being delivered today, and we're going to need to get some more plants because we don't quite have enough to fill all of the gaps yet. So yeah, you might have seen what we've done already, but yeah, I'm finding it really satisfying now that we can get out there and get on with things. So yeah, it is quite fun getting on with sort of like garden and house stuff ourselves. And it's nice now that the weather's good and we can get out there and get on with it all. So.